Okay, so what this means is this is a binomial function with 10 trials and a probability of success is 0.2. So it's kind of like the quiz that we took yesterday, right? We had 10 trials. The probability of success for each trial was 0.2. And I'm asking you, what is the probability, in this case, if we took this quiz, x is greater than 2? So there's two ways that we're going to do it, okay? One, I'm going to show you how to put it in your calculator, and then, which we did yesterday, but I want to show you how to write it out, because if it's a free response question, you're going to have to write it out. And I'm going to tell you that if you write it out, you can get away with writing the calculator function. If you just write the calculator function, you will lose at least a half a point. They don't want to see calculator functions because they know you're going to do it. They want to see if you know how to put everything into the calculator, into the formula. So yesterday I gave you the formula. So 10 is our n, 2 is our k, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write our p. Well, our p is what? What is our p? 0.2, because that's the probability of success. And how many successes do we want? Remember, k is our success, so we want 2. Now, there's two ways you can write the next one. You can actually do what is the probability of failure, or you can actually write it out. It's up to you. You can write 1 minus 0.2. And remember, this exponent is n minus k. Well, 10 minus 2 is 8. These two exponents need to add up to the number of trials, okay? These two need to add up to 1. Well, 0.2, and as you can see, okay? So that is how you do the formula. There's a couple questions they'll ask you. They'll either ask you what the binomial coefficient is, or they're going to ask you flat out what is the probability. So let's go over how to use your calculator again, okay? So it's going to be second bars. And you guys, I scroll down because I don't know. All of our numbers are a little different. And we're going to go to binomial PDF. Today we are going to look at the binom CDF, but right now we're going to look at binom PDF. Hit enter. Now, if you might have that calculator that asks you the number of trials, then the probability, and then how many successes you want. So it's 10.2, and I want 2 successes. So the probability in this problem, okay, and we've already gone through all the criteria for a binomial distribution, you guys, and we've met it, okay? So that means that our probability of success, everything, if we go out 4 decimal places, it rounds it up to, right, to 0.302. You guys, they're going to ask you for either one. They'll ask you for the decimal or they'll ask you for the percentage. So I'm just writing both of them now. If this was a free response question, you guys, you could get away with this. Okay? What you can't get away with is writing binom PDF 10, 0.2.8. That's it. Okay? So if you just wrote this, and yes, I've had kids do this. You can only write that as if you had this work with it. Does that make sense? You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna write binom PDF 10.22 equals 30.2%, 2%. That's not gonna work because all you showed them is, yeah, I know how to use my calculator. They want to see that you know how to put it into the formula. Okay? Now,
This for
Okay, but you guys, sometimes they want to know, or we want to know, I shouldn't say they, but you know, we want to know, what's the probability of having having no more than 2 failures? Okay, so this means X does not equal 2, right? It's not an equal to. So what I want to know, when you see a less than, this is what we call a cumulative distribution function. This is a CDF. And what this is that they basically want to know what's the probability of having 0 failures and 1 failure. So for this one, you would write 10, 0, 0.2 raised to the 0, 1 minus 0.2 raised to the 10th, plus 10, 1 raised to the 1th, that's what your calculator is doing. Anytime you put less than 1, that's what it's doing. If this is a free response question, you have to show work. You guys, I am not kidding you when I tell you that they're going to ask you a question and they're going to say, how do you set up this problem? Sometimes they don't even care. They'll ask you, okay, what's the probability of having no more than 2 or no more or less than 2 successes? And they'll say, how do you set that up? And it's not going to be a binomial CDF, okay? It's going to be this. This is what they're going to give you. Sometimes they'll actually change the 10 over 0 and the 10 over 1 to the binomial coefficient, which we'll go over again. Okay, so let me show you how to put this into your calculator. This time we're going to use a binomial CDF. And we're going to put 10.2 and we're going to put 1. If you put 2 in, it will add up the probability for 2, 1, and 0. And I don't want that. So in your calculator, let's go. And then I'll show you a different way to do it. So second bars. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down to binomial CDF. Now CDF means, hey, I want you to add up some stuff. But your calculator only knows how to add down. So once I put in 10, just like I normally do, right? I put in my probability of success. But now I got to be careful with this number. When the question asks you, does it ask you to include the 2? Does it ask you not to include the 2? Ours was less than 2. So it means don't include the 2. So when you put that 1 in, what you are telling your calculator to do is please add the probability of 0 and 1. So that's what they're doing. They're going to do a PDF of 0, a PDF of 1, and they're going to add them together. So the probability of having less than 2 successes is 0.3758. Now, if I said,
sorry, this is just kind of like a review question.
4 digits, because you guys, you are going to do some round off error, and so you want to make sure. So there's a couple things that I want to make sure that we know how to do today. Can you do this without a calculator? That's the first thing, okay? Second thing is, can you use the calculator? Can you use the Can you use the CDF for less thans? Because we're greater thans we're coming to. Can you find the binomial coefficient? So those are the things that we need to focus on. Because the binomial coefficient is just that. Is going to be this number right here. So it's just the number of choices. Okay, so The probability of having less than 2 successes is 37.58%. So I want to show you something. You guys don't have to do this, but I want to show you something. Oh, no, 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 no. I know what I did. I know what I forgot to do. Nothing like. Here we go. See, it's the same. So the cumulative, the CDF, just adds them up. Now remember, I added 0 plus 1. The calculator does not know how to add up. So if I said, oh, I want it to be greater than 2, your calculator does not know how to add the probability of 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10. We're going to get to talk about that. Okay. Let's do another one. Okay, so let's set this one up now. Oops. So let's set this up now. So I want it to be probability of less than or equal to 3. Okay, so we're going to write it like it was a free response question before we put it into our calculator. So what am I going to start with?
The parentheses and then 10, 0.
Yep, we're going to start with 10, 0. Now, you guys, a lot of kids, and you guys can ask me, Miss Fleury, if I know that I know this is 1 minus 0.2, can I put 0.8 there? Of course you can. You don't have to write it 1 minus 0.2, but I wanted to show you. So since we're doing the same problem, I'm going to put 0.8. And remember, 0 plus what gives me 10? So 10. Then what's my next one going to be?
10 and 1.
Yep. I was having trouble with that 8. Okay, what's the next one? Ten in.
2.
Okay. And then, now why did I put plus there? The other one I didn't put plus and I put 2. Why am I going further with this one? 3 is included. So since 3 is included, I have to put 3. Bless you. So you guys remember your exponent should always add up to the number of trials you had. So 0 plus 10 is 10, 1 plus 9 is 10, 2 plus 8 is 10, 3 plus 7 is 10. Also remember that your two numbers, your two probabilities should always add up to 1. And now let's use your binomial CDF to see what we got. So let's take turns. No, I want you to do two things. I want you to do your PDF and then I want you to do your CDF, okay? So just like I did it, do binom PDF of 0, binom PDF of 1, binom PDF of 2, binom PDF of 3, and then do a do a binom CDF, okay? So. Okay, so second vars binom CDF 10, comma, 0.2, comma, 3. And the reason I can put 3 in there is because it says less than or equal to. And my answer is, did you get 0.079? 0.0791, right? 0.0791, which is 7.91%. So,
I think it's 8, 7.
Yeah, I think 8, 7, and 1.
oh, that is 8. Woo! Thank you. Binomial coefficient. So this is what they'll do, okay? You guys, on an AP exam test, there's 2 questions that kids, they don't expect. One is this. Well, how do you set it up? What is the formula? That's all they want you to do is set it up and get an answer. But you have to pick up the right setup. The other thing is, they just flat out, like a simple question, what is the binomial coefficient for the probability of x equaling 2? Okay? So to find that, it is this right here. It is n choose k. 10 over 2. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday. It's 10 factorial over 2 factorial times 8 factorial. Remember that these 2 always add up to the total and then 10 factorial. They do not give you this formula. So there's 2 things. You either have to remember this formula or you have to remember the calculator function. And I'll show you how to do the calculator function after we're done with this one, okay? So what does 10 factorial mean? What does that mean? 10 to the exclamation.
10 times 9 times 8 times 7. Oh, I forgot how to count for a second. But just keep going on to 1.
It's probably that cheese that got to you. Okay, how do I cancel stuff out?
Well, you can cancel out 8 through 1.
Yep, cancel these out.
And then you can simplify
The-
like the 2 and the 1 through 10.
The 2 and the 1 become 1, and the 2 times 1 is 2. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So my binomial coefficient is,
9.
no,
Oh,
5.
Sorry, 45.
Yeah, 45. Okay. You can do this as well. 10 NCR2. So let me tell you where you can find that in your calculator. Please go to math. Okay. And we're going to go over to probability. Okay, so I already messed it up. Yep. Good e-learners. Sorry about that. Sorry. And look at there. We got to go. Okay, don't forget your AP classroom. It's due tomorrow night by 11:45. AP classroom by tomorrow night.